In many developing countries, the majority of the poor live in rural areas and earn a living as smallholder farmers. Without much knowledge of cultivation techniques and market demand, farmers relied on a few middlemen to sell their produce. As such, farmers were unable to negotiate prices on an equal footing, which prevented them from earning an adequate income. To support such smallholder farmers and enable market-oriented farm techniques and sales, JICA developed the SHEP Approach, the Smallholder Horticulture Empowerment and Promotion Approach. This video describes the SHEP approach that successfully transforms farmers' mindsets from simply grow and sell to grow to sell. The SHEP approach was introduced in 2006 as part of a technical cooperation project between Kenya's Ministry of Agriculture and JICA to support smallholder farmers. Under this approach, farmers visit markets to survey market needs. Production plans are then created based on the information gained from the market. Such direct information exchange with market actors and development of market-oriented plans change ways of agriculture from a passive approach to a proactive form of grow to sell, in which markets are actively developed. A project incorporating the SHEP approach started in 2014 in Rwanda. Emphasis was placed on strengthening farmer organizations, gender awareness, marketing, and cultivation techniques. In the 5 years to 2019, the project succeeded in significantly increasing the incomes of 14,000 farmers. During the same period in Egypt, the SHEP approach achieved income improvements for smallholder farmers, including doubling the incomes of 30% of the target 2,500 farmers. In Palestine, a project incorporating SHEP elements was implemented from 2011, targeting 3 districts in the Jordan River Rift Valley. The new agriculture extension methods incorporating the SHEP approach were highly recognized and now operate in all of Palestine. In 2015, Asia's first SHEP project started in Nepal. Support for the development of new markets was provided to farmers in the hilly areas extending from the Kathmandu Valley. This activity resulted in improving income by almost 50% per person for all the farmer groups.
In Kenya, we had
such activities enhanced the international recognition of SHEP. Case studies are being undertaken in a variety of settings. A 2020 seminar of the International Food Policy Research Institute cited SHEP as a successful approach aiming to transform small-scale farming.
Getting them to think about farming as a business.
In May 2017, JICA and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations signed a new cooperation agreement. This strengthened cooperation in more comprehensive areas, including SHEP, with the aim of achieving zero hunger, set in Goal 2 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. The SHEP approach is attracting global attention as a pillar of agricultural development that leads to boosting farmer incomes. The SHEP approach has now expanded to over 50 countries worldwide. This global expansion of SHEP started with participation by government officials and agricultural extension staff from developing countries in training programs conducted in Japan. Participants learn the basic principles of the SHEP approach and then obtain various hints by speaking with Japanese farmers, agricultural extension centers, local governments, and other people connected with distribution and sales, including agricultural cooperatives and wholesale markets. The participants returning to their home countries after completing the training first investigate available human resources and funds, and then implement their SHEP action plans created during the training. JICA provides technical advice through its local office and dispatch staff and experts to support the efforts of ex-participants. Experiences of implementing the SHEP approach in various countries are presented at annual international workshops in South Africa, Senegal, and Egypt. The participants of these workshops are not only government officials and agricultural extension staff trained by JICA, but also others, including local government staff, JICA experts, and development partners. They all engage in a lively discussion. At the same time, capacity development training for consultants is conducted in Japan to foster Japanese experts with a thorough knowledge of the SHEP approach. In addition to continuous technical supervision of the ex-participants of the trainings, JICA regularly provides opportunities for the sharing of knowledge and experience. Let's take a detailed look at the SHEP approach. The concept of SHEP is underpinned by two pillars: economics and psychology. Asymmetric information is an economics term that refers to the existence of an information gap between the seller and buyer. When asymmetric information exists between market actors, the economy loses efficiency, disadvantaging both the buyer and seller. By incorporating activities that mitigate asymmetry, SHEP aims to promote farming as a business in a sustainable manner. All SHEP activities are planned and implemented by actively empowering and motivating people under the self-determination theory of psychology. Mitigating asymmetric information by having each market player, such as a producer, trader, and consumer, share information makes commercial transactions more efficient. Applying this to the distribution of agricultural produce means matching information on produced crops with information on the needs of buyers. That is, who wants to sell or purchase what crop, of what quality and quantity, when and where, and at what price. This results in more efficient transactions. From the farmer's perspective, knowing buyer needs in advance enables the provision of attractive produce that matches market needs. Such efforts ultimately benefit farmers as increased income. After conducting a market survey of the SHEP approach, Some farmers in Africa invited the middlemen whom they had met in the market to their farms to explain their growing methods and the high quality of their crops. Previously, farmers had not spoken with middlemen about anything other than prices. Now, through their conversations with middlemen, they can learn the consumer response to vegetables to be wholesaled and use it to improve their farming practices. The mitigation of information asymmetry also brought significant benefits to the middlemen who buy the crops from farmers. By conveying to farmers what was desired in advance, middlemen were able to avoid problems, including the risk of having poor quality produce or of not being able to find the desired produce. Repeating mutually beneficial win-win interactions like this nurtures relationships of trust between farmers and market actors. This leads to sustainable business development. Even amid the COVID-19 pandemic, farmers are making profits by reading changes in market needs through periodic market surveys and flexibly changing buyers and crops. SHEP is an approach that was developed based on numerous insights acquired from agricultural extension in Japan. In January 2020, JICA dispatched a Japanese expert with experience in policy implementation and agricultural extension to a SHEP project in Zimbabwe. He shared his knowledge and experience with local government officials, agricultural extension staff, and farmers. The SHEP approach is simple and easy to understand. I think that its methods of raising and changing farmer awareness contribute to a high level of continuity in terms of engagement and efficacy. In my experience, agricultural extension in Japan consists of a lot of tacit knowledge, but a major feature of the SHEP approach is to convert that into simple, explicit knowledge. At the root of Japan's agricultural extension, there are proactive farmers who think, make decisions, and act on their own, and the stakeholders involved in agriculture who support those farmers. It is very important for producers to engage in agriculture that is based on consumers' needs. These Japanese farmers from Obihiro, Hokkaido constantly check the market situation while planning, then growing and shipping crops. Mr. Tsujino has a farm in Obihiro. He produces a lot of vegetables with various sales channels, such as a farmer's market and a confectionery manufacturer. In order to sell my crops at higher unit prices and to ship them where there are higher demands, I collect information from various people, review my practices every day to improve them, and try to stabilize the farm management. Muso Farm ships vegetables to about 80 to 100 restaurants and wholesalers annually. Ms. Hota says they ship to more restaurants and wholesalers in Sapporo and Tokyo than in the local area, Obihiro. In the beginning, we hardly had any business partners. So we searched the internet for Tokyo Western vegetables, restaurants, or Tokyo Hokkaido vegetables, green grocers, and listed the vendors who might be interested in Hokkaido-grown vegetables. After that, we called them and visited them one by one to sell our produce. Ms. Shinozaki is still only in her second year as a farmer. Although she lacks agricultural experience, she grows many types of vegetables through trial and error. Compared to last year, I have changed the crops I grow and sold my produce to more customers. I don't ship my produce to JA, but sell directly to consumers. So I can't sell a large quantity at one time. Therefore, compared with last year, I have produced less volume of each crop. However, I have instead increased the variety of crops. I prepared vegetable packs composed of various vegetables, including those with unusual colors that appeal to my customers. Those involved in agricultural product distribution and agricultural extension are responding to the enthusiasm and motivation of such proactive farmers. In Japan, agricultural produce typically reaches consumers via shipping organizations like agricultural cooperatives, wholesale markets, and retailers like supermarkets and green grocers. Government organizations provide technical guidance and networking support to ensure that produce sought by the market is delivered to consumers without delay. All the players here make a continuous effort to ensure the mitigation of information asymmetry according to their respective roles. Next, let's hear from those in government and in distribution. Tokachi is one of Japan's main food-producing regions. Its capital, Obihiro City, spearheads its promotion of a local agricultural policy called Food Valley Tokachi. We have established the Food Valley Tokachi Promotion Council to promote our initiatives. The members of the council are the 19 municipalities of the Tokachi sub-prefecture, including Obihiro City, plus local industrial, academic, governmental, and financial institutions, such as agricultural, commercial, and industrial organizations, universities, and research institutes and financial institutions. With the participation of various organizations, we can serve as a responsive platform to provide a wide range of services to farmers, companies, and organizations who are the players of food-related business. The services include providing information, being aware of the needs, and finding business partners for them. The strength of the local government is that it can collect a wide range of information on the area. What is important is to utilize the power of the private sector. It is necessary for the sector to work as the main player and create a connection among themselves. To that end, we believe the government should devote itself to creating a stage where the private sector can take on challenges. This is the only wholesale market in Tokachi, Hokkaido. It distributes food items, mainly perishables such as marine products, fruits, and vegetables. Under Japanese law, all items shipped to markets must be received, priced, and sold. The market is entrusted to sell the produce on behalf of farmers. Our duty is to guarantee appropriate prices for the produce. In the distribution industry, it is a matter of course that the more produce we have, the cheaper the prices will be. Therefore, we are frequently in contact with the farmers about the weather conditions and market price. Through such information, we advise the farmers to adjust the shipping volume to guarantee the prices we promised, or to ship immediately when the produce is scarce in the market. This is how we try and stabilize prices throughout the year. Apart from communicating directly with farmers, markets collaborate with agricultural cooperatives and fulfill a role in linking consumers with producers. Information is exchanged on the basis of mutual trust, and shipment volumes are adjusted. This achieves stable pricing and a mutual win-win relationship. This restaurant uses local produce to serve Thai and Chinese cuisines. The restaurant owner buys coriander from Ms. Hota. Initially, we imported coriander from Thailand and China. After its arrival in Tokyo, it was sent to Hokkaido. The problem was, quarantine process took a week or even 10 days, and when it was finally delivered to us, it was in bad condition. It was then that I heard about a local farmer who grew coriander all year round. I asked the farmers, Mr. and Ms. Hota of Muso Farm, if it was possible for them to sell a certain volume of it to us directly and regularly. That was the beginning of our partnership. Restaurant owners and chefs like me appreciate valuable information from farmers, such as what vegetables can be purchased, when and where, how to cook tasty dishes with the vegetables they grow, how to cook a dish the way customers can enjoy the natural taste of a vegetable, and how to cook the same vegetable in the way customers can enjoy a totally different taste. I really wish to have more information from farmers for better customer satisfaction. The way to cook vegetables changes according to the information given by the producers. This is a store that sells fruits, vegetables, and more. Mr. Oki, the store's CEO, pays special attention to make sure that his store gives customers a sense of the season. So he tries his best to start selling seasonal items at the start of each season. There is an item called mixed leaves that contains various types of leaves. But I couldn't really tell what kind of leaves were there in the package. So I suggested to the producer that it would be a good idea if customers can see what leaves are in it when they look at it. Then I included a flyer in the packet with the names and photos of the leaves. With the photos, customers can see so many types of leaves are in the packet, which they could not by just looking at the item. The number of customers who show interest in it and hold it in their hands has clearly increased. We need to know what consumers most seek from produce. This clarifies what producers should be growing. The SHEP approach also recommends market surveys of places other than wholesale markets to get to know the quality and quantity desired by schools, hospitals, restaurants, hotels, and even processors and exporters. It is important for farmers to have new customers as an option. agricultural cooperatives are organizations run by producers for producers. There are 24 agricultural cooperatives in the Tokachi sub-prefecture. JA Kino offers farming consultation, sales work, and administrative assistance for producer groups. We discuss with farmers what will sell well, what to produce, and when to sell it. Based on what farmers decide, they prepare marketing plans. Furthermore, based on the plans, they coordinate who produces at what time. This is because if everyone harvests the same crop at the same time, it will naturally be sold at low prices. Therefore, in order to avoid such a situation, they must plan and produce in a manner that they can ship the same volume for a long period of time. In such a way, JA provides farming guidance and connects production activities, markets, and consumer needs. We believe this is an important role to play. Producers groups are crop-based producer organizations for which the agricultural cooperative acts as secretariat. JA has some producers groups, such as leeks, spinach, tomatoes, cucumbers, pumpkins, and so on. By group, producers get together and discuss production, shipment, and marketing plans. During winter, when farm work has not started yet, we provide farmers with technical training on what crops to grow and how. We invite a seed company, and through them, we train farmers on how to grow specific varieties. Before the harvest season begins, it is necessary to make a consensus within each group to set a standard for the size and shape of the produce and inform all members of it. Stable shipping and large shipping volumes are required for smallholder farmers to benefit from shipping to market. This is where a crop calendar helps. It makes it easier for groups to adjust the timing of various farming activities by counting back from the shipping period that was identified through market surveys. The Tokachi Agricultural Improvement and Extension Center was established to provide technical assistance to farmers. Its main work includes technical guidance, experiments and research, and training and education. Sometimes we receive requests from farmers about what to do with fertilizer or a new crop they have grown. There are also times we visit the producer groups to discuss what to focus on during this cropping season. We extension officers always need to be aware of market trends and know what consumers and buyers wish to purchase. Based on this, we should consider what to cultivate and produce. Otherwise, large amounts of produce will be left unsold. There are also times when some consumers wish to purchase the produce even if it is more expensive than usual. We can suggest the farmers try the new method, which will most probably give them greater profit than usual. I believe it is important to promote agriculture together with all parties concerned. For example, decisions to alter farm management, such as to change crops, shift harvest times, or adopt new techniques, are major decisions that are directly linked to changes in the farmer's income and expenditure. Such decisions are enabled by the market information obtained firsthand by farmers and a relationship of trust with trading partners. The essence of the SHEP approach is that extension staff offer technical guidance with respect for the decision of farmers, taking up the challenge of trying new things. As you have seen, the work of those associated with farming and agricultural product distribution in Japan is closely related with SHEP activities. Farmers want to deliver good produce to consumers, while extension staff and distributors support that desire, working daily to communicate information about consumer and market needs. Producers don't wait for information to come to them, but try to find a market by themselves and reform their farming methods based on the information they gather. Asymmetric information is mitigated when farmers go into the marketplace, interact directly with traders, and proactively collect and provide information for pioneering new potential. Information here is not simply about the data, but includes the understanding of the person who possesses that information. Interventions to link farmers and market actors constitute the bedrock of mitigating asymmetric information under SHEP. According to a survey of Japanese farmers, the majority of consumer-oriented farmers who are sensitive to consumer needs have experienced annual sales growth of over 5% over the past 3 years. Conversely, only 10% of the farmers who are indifferent to market needs have experienced similar sales growth. The more farmers interact with consumers, the better their results. It illustrates the importance of market-oriented agriculture. Next, let's look at the second pillar, which is the self-determination theory. According to this theory, to motivate people to act, it is important to support 3 psychological needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Autonomy is the need to feel in control of one's own goals and behaviors. Competence is the need to master tasks and learn different skills. Relatedness is the need to experience a sense of belonging and attachment to other people. For example, autonomy is supported when a farmer conducts a market survey, selects the crops to grow, and proactively improves farm management. When farmers conduct market surveys, they use a prepared questionnaire for the interview. This facilitates the collection of required information. The farmers gain confidence when they conduct the surveys on their own. This supports the competence need. Farmers also use these surveys to deepen their relationships with market actors. This links to relatedness. It also leads to farmers trying to live up to the trust of market actors.
金がねじゃないって思っても、やらないと納得しないっていう時もあるんですよね。
There are times when farmers wish to do something which we believe is not worth the money they will spend on it. However, we often fail to convince them not to do it. In a case like this, we consider the cost-effectiveness of it and let them try it out for the sake of building trust with the farmers. The desire to try new things leads to many things, so I wouldn't say to them, "What are you talking about? After all, it is them who do it, not us." So no matter how great our suggestion is, it's worthless if farmers don't accept it. Respecting the will of farmers and motivating them in this way is crucial. Incorporating motivation-enhancing mechanisms throughout the implementation of activities is the feature of the SHEP approach supported by psychology. Under the SHEP approach, extension activities are implemented with farmers in 4 steps. In the past, most development programs repeated a cycle of determining crops in advance and training farmers on how to cultivate those crops. Cost effectiveness was sometimes ignored, while the focus was on the latest agricultural techniques. As a result, despite well-intended technical guidance, farmers did not necessarily adopt the techniques. SHEP is designed to follow 4 steps that gradually increase farmers' motivation and enable them to take initiative in their activities. This graph illustrates changes in farmer motivation and skill levels when activities are conducted according to the 4 steps. As activities progress, farmer motivation is strengthened, which increases the willingness to acquire new knowledge. An important element of the SHEP approach is that it takes the psychological reaction of farmers into consideration in setting up the sequence of activities. At first, sensitization workshops are held with all concerned parties, including farmers, to explain project concepts, goals, and schedules. This process allows participants to understand that SHEP does not provide financial assistance or material support. Instead, it offers technical knowledge and skills for achieving market-oriented agriculture. Farmers learn to improve their agricultural management and undertake farming using their own capital. In other words, farmers understand that they are not in a passive position to receive assistance, but are actively learning for their own benefit. Under the self-determination theory, this equates to support of the need of autonomy. In countries with low literacy rates, this approach to farming as a business and the importance of gender equality are explained using kamishibai. Explanations were provided in story form. Farmers who look at pictures while listening to the explanations by extension staff seem to have a better understanding of SHEP.
Good morning. How are you?
My name is Hilda. I am from Zimbabwe. Nice to meet you.
But we explained to them extensively the benefits of having the SHEP approach and for them to realize a sustainable way of raising their incomes using the approach. We also take time to explain to them that it's purely a technical cooperation project and they are meant to improve their managerial skills. We also explain to them that it is a 100% participatory project and we expect them to do knowledge co-creation together as a group.
Explanations that use kamishibai are helpful because the farmers can distinguish each individual picture and understand the message depicted in each one. For extension staff like us, this tool has been useful in helping farmers understand the significance of sensitization workshops. As part of the steps for creating opportunities for raising farmer awareness, activities include a participatory baseline survey, a stakeholder forum, gender and family budget training, and a market survey by farmers. In the participatory baseline survey, farmers receive help in recording and analyzing data, such as the volume of crops harvested in the previous season, income and expenditures, to understand the current state of their farming. They also learn the importance of keeping farming records, such as income and expenditure regularly. The majority of farmers in Africa trade using various units, such as bags, bundles, and crates. So a visual unit conversion table was developed to facilitate weight conversion. Mr. Tsujino from Japan is explaining record keeping. My basic tool is a daily record. Ever since I started farming, I keep daily records each year in the same notebook. In farming, there is no such thing as the same growing method and conditions every year. So I go back and see what it was like last year or 2 years ago. For example, I go back and see what happened on September 3rd last year and recall what happened. The Stakeholder Forum gives an opportunity for farmer groups to meet various market actors in agriculture. Participants vary and include input suppliers of seeds, fertilizers, and basic agricultural tools, middlemen and processors seeking agricultural produce, and financial institutions who make loans to smallholder farmers. Participants exchange information with a view to future business linkages and deepen relationships. In one country, agricultural equipment and machinery sellers were invited to display equipment, particularly labor-saving tools. Such efforts were particularly welcomed by female farmers, who tend to be overworked due to the difficulty in balancing farming and household chores. In several countries, stakeholder forums are held after farmers have decided on target crops. In such cases, participating companies and buyers at the forum are limited to those directly related to the selected crops. For example, if onions and tomatoes are selected by farmers, only those stakeholders that buy them or sell the seeds will participate in the forum. Because opinion exchange is specific to target crops at such forums, talks often progress to commercial negotiations on the spot. To help raise awareness, some countries incorporate activities like visits to progressive farmers or large production areas of specific crops. For example, SHEP activities targeting livestock production may visit farmers raising a profitable breed of sheep or feed suppliers to learn techniques and feeding methods. We have been able to create new markets with retailers. Thanks to such visits, we've been able to earn good profits. SHEP activities also encourage farmers to change their mindset, even in areas such as gender and family budgeting. Recommendations are made to farmer group members and spouses to cooperate with each other in farming and farm management and make important decisions together to improve productivity. In regions with low literacy levels, small stones and candies were used to represent money in family budget training to help everyone understand cash flow. In market surveys, farmers visit markets directly, interview crop buyers, and collect information on not only prices, but also desired quality and quantities, top-selling produce, and so on. Through this activity, farmers gain an understanding of such matters as crop varieties, sizes, and price variations depending on the timing of shipments. In this way, farmers gain numerous hints on the crop and variety to grow, the quantity, and the timing of shipments to meet market needs. This is a map of a certain market. In many countries, government officials and extension staff carry out preliminary market visits to understand market trends and find traders willing to cooperate in interviews. In some countries, a map of the market was created, and traders who wished to buy from smallholder farms were marked on the map. Even when visiting a market for the first time, farmers can use this map to conduct market surveys smoothly. Such advanced preparation is crucial to ensuring that the first market survey by farmers does not fail. It also supports the competence need of farmers. Awareness-raising activities, including market surveys, support the farmer's autonomy need by incorporating autonomous activities, such as having farmers record information on the survey form and speaking directly to market actors. Extension staff also devise a variety of ways to prevent mistakes by farmers and ensure they feel a sense of accomplishment they can achieve by themselves. In other words, the activities support the competence need.
In our trainings in Kenya, we have included alternative markets during our trainings. Like we engage the hotels, the supermarkets, the schools. So we invite representatives of these alternative markets during our training so that they can share information about the market requirements during these trainings. And when the farmers have gotten this information, they actually feel encouraged and are more bold now to seek in these alternative markets. And this is very important because now they are no longer shy. They can be able to move out and seek these alternative markets.
Market surveys clarify market potential for farmers and are vital as a turning point for boosting motivation. Collecting specific market information and interacting directly with trader partners raised farmer motivation to another level. Through these market surveys, I think farmers have acquired a new vision, which is running their farming as a business. Farmer group members select the crops they will grow based on the results of market surveys. The plan for harvesting the selected crops of a quality and quantity that meet market needs and at the targeted time is reflected in the crop calendar. All activities, including those related to marketing and group management, are also entered. Before filling in specific on-farm and other activities, farmers first need to reconfirm their objectives, such as what are they going to improve from the past. For example, are crops or varieties going to be changed? Is quality going to be improved, or is production volume going to be increased? Are harvesting times or buyers going to be changed? Being aware of such matters helps farmers show the concrete path of farming or group activities that they should work on. In addition, when selecting crops, some countries create crop budgets or detailed income and expenditure forecasts for each crop on the basis of market information. Farmers bring back the information they obtained through market surveys, take into account their technical levels and available capital, and decide on the crops to grow. Looking ahead to shipping, they use a crop calendar to decide their own farming plan, which further supports their autonomy.
This picture use crop calendar is important for our DS, our farmers, also for our government. The middle part is important for our farmers because most of our farmers is not writing and reading, especially the women farmers. So simply our day can refer from this part to teach our farmers.
We conducted market survey activities with farmers, such as visiting successful farmers and looking at markets. Farmers felt it beneficial to have such surveys. Their response enabled us to identify the issues troubling farmers. We were then able to create a crop cultivation schedule tailored to each farmer. Under Step 4, farmers acquire necessary practical skills. Because farmers learn the skills they want to acquire, their skill adoption and retention rate is very high. In many countries, extension and technical staff go out to the farms and provide direct guidance in the form of in-field training. Some countries adopt a style in which demonstration fields are established, where farmers learn from each other as they acquire skills. On the other hand, there are also cases in which extension staff lack sufficient knowledge to teach farmers the skills they need. This is why in most countries, extension staff undergo training beforehand to learn the skills needed by farmers. In other countries, mushroom cultivation training, which was not specialized for general extension staff, was devised by inviting local experts to provide training to farmers. Recently, training utilizing tablets and videos is starting to become popular. In some countries where there is an insufficient number of local extension staff, the government is cooperating with private companies selling seeds, fertilizers, and agricultural chemicals to jointly provide technical guidance to farmers or ask them to carry out part of the trainings on their behalf. Data shows that farmers who have succeeded under SHEP are spending more on seeds, fertilizers, and agricultural chemicals, and have expanded the scale of their business. Farmers are valuable customers for suppliers that sell agricultural inputs. Giving technical guidance to farmers offers these input suppliers big advantages if it results in future increases in product sales amounts. Farmers also acquire skills and enhance productivity, so this is a win-win situation for both parties. In-field training is designed to cover what farmers want to learn. That is why farmers' knowledge and skills improve steadily, and farmers' competence need is supported. It also increases the trust in the extension staff, who have taught them what they wanted. This supports the relatedness need between farmers and extension staff.
They're using some techniques in storage, for example, for potato. That increases the shelf life of the commodity, and therefore it's able to achieve higher prices from the market because they can keep in storage for a longer time and they're able to coincide selling with the time when prices are high on the market. So in short, farmers are really adopting these techniques.
We made careful preparations to explain new cultivation techniques to farmers. We wanted to convey the information simply and effectively. The cultivation skill levels of farmers vary, so we tried to match the technical level with their respective capabilities. This allowed us to reduce the skills gap among farmers and their families. Considering farmer motivation and creating activity plans has a major impact on the behavior of farmers. Extension staff help farmers develop substantially through the promotion of asymmetric information mitigation and focus on farmer motivation in designing extension activities. They play a vital role in the SHEP approach. In SHEP activities, extension staff envision goals together with farmers and facilitate market surveys and crop calendar preparation. Farmers are provided technical training for the skills that they really require. Through such a series of activities, they develop into extension staff capable of meeting farmer needs and are trusted by farmers. Enabling innovation in agricultural extension is the SHEP approach. Government officials who participated in training in Japan launched the SHEP approach after returning to Niger. Women who were socially disadvantaged developed greatly through experiencing the SHEP approach. At present, the women have gained economic power by growing and selling vegetables that sell well and are earning the respect of the men of the village. The women who had long suffered financial hardship wanted knowledge for improving their livelihoods. The faces of the women who acquired those skills were full of confidence and surprised even the supervising extension staff. For Africa, food scarcity and nutritional issues are long-standing challenges. While each country has been making efforts to boost food production, our goal lies one step beyond that. We would like to transition away from agriculture that enables the farmer to eat, to agriculture that enables the farmer to earn money. The person who succeeded in doubling the incomes of 2,500 farmers in Kenya was none other than this Dr. Aikawa. What Dr. Aikawa did was to get African women engaged in agriculture to take an approach of confirming with their own eyes what the consumer market is calling for, while thinking always of what they can make that can be sold successfully. The worry of making something only to find it is unsaleable can be cancelled out by making something that is saleable. At TICAD VII, there was an event devoted to the SHEP approach. Over 130 people attended, including government officials, development partners from all over Africa, NGOs, and private companies. At the end of the event, the Principal Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture in Kenya, where SHEP first began, made the SHEP 1 Million Declaration to expand SHEP to 1 million farmers. Members affirmed their resolve to achieve better livelihoods for farmers worldwide. There is also a unique initiative starting from the perspective of the emergence of new SHEP players. In Bangladesh, the private sector is implementing the SHEP approach and is simultaneously achieving the dual goals of improving farmer livelihoods and their own company's sales. Similar to this example, JICA is also aiming to have numerous partners implement the SHEP approach. The SHEP approach achieves agriculture as a business through specific actions, motivates each farmer, and promotes further development through autonomous efforts. JICA offers a range of support to implement the approach at the field level, including providing opportunities for sharing advice, knowledge, and experience.
We get to do the market survey and get the peak demand periods of the market, so we can't miss the market. We'll always have the market where to sell our produce. We'll always have to communicate to our customers.
So SHEP approach within the framework of motivation and farming as a business, we have built trust among extension makers and staff and farmers. As a result, they have benefited a lot from.
I was not using my money properly. I was not be in good terms in my wife, my children, but I'm getting more things without using a lot of energy and money.
After SHEP, I think we improved a lot, mainly after the visit to stuck areas. Yeah, that's where I got much, which I thought improved my, my farming skills.
In this way, SHEP is contributing to the achievement of the SDGs, such as Goal 2, Zero Hunger, Goal 5, Gender Equality, and Goal 8, Decent Work and Economic Growth. In order to have the SHEP concept widely understood, JICA is developing a variety of educational materials and communicating information via multiple media channels. Introduction to the Psychology of International Cooperation analyzes the field experiences of technical cooperation in agriculture and rural development, based on motivation theory and psychology, which is central to the SHEP approach. This smartphone game introduces players to agricultural extension in Africa, which helps them to understand the SHEP concept while having fun. In this video, we have introduced relevant pages from the SHEP Handbook for Extension staff. The handbook is a practical implementation guide with various tips and hints for effective SHEP activities. In addition, JICA has constantly posted information relating to SHEP through its website and official Facebook account. In such ways, JICA is providing a variety of training materials and media to help many people across borders learn about SHEP JICA will continue to collaborate with all partners in the fields of development and agriculture to promote farmers' growth through their autonomous efforts and support agriculture as a business that converts farmers' mindset from grow and sell to grow to sell.